My name is Rex, and I'm the owner of the ChewBaru art car. It's a 1995 Subaru Legacy that at this time is covered with about 80 pounds of dentures and partials, at least 80 pounds of dental molds, toothpaste tubes, toothbrushes, and many other items related to dentistry. And I've been driving it all over the country since May of 2006. I first got interested in art cars back in 1997 when I happened to stumble onto a website of a guy who had an art car at the time, and he would post stories of his trips to different art car events and other places, and I would check that website periodically and found what he was doing to be very interesting. So I kind of put that in the back of my mind, and going way back before I got interested in art cars, I had been riding motorcycles and going to motorcycle rallies such as the one in Sturgis, South Dakota, Four Corners Iron Horse Rally, near Durango, Colorado, and many others. And while I'd be on the road, I'd be thinking about making a trike. And I thought about different configurations for several years. And back in 1998, one day it hit me that I needed to do a trike using an old Volkswagen Bug body. And I decided I was going to cut a section out of the middle of the Volkswagen Bug body from front to back. I just didn't know how much. And I decided I was going to put a motorcycle in the back for power. Well, about a few days after I had that idea, I was driving around one day over my noon hour when I was still working, and I saw an old Bug sitting in a guy's backyard, so I got out, looked at it, knocked on his door, asked him if he would sell it to me, and he did, for $100. I took it home a couple nights later, and then that weekend, I went to look at it, not knowing anything about how to go about cutting a body up, and I decided I would cut 19 inches out of the middle of it. So I rented a Sawzall, cut 19 inches out of the middle of it, and then I bought an old motorcycle, a 1981 Honda Goldwing from a cousin of mine, and then the whole thing sat for a little over 3 years because I decided I was way over my head in being able to do something like that, putting it together. Well, one day, a lady who used to work with me told me about a guy who builds cars for the drag strip. So I approached him and asked him if he would put the thing together for me in the configuration I wanted. He looked at the drawings I did, said that he would, and then about 9 months later, after he and another guy worked on it in their respective shops, what I called the BugWing rolled out in 2002. I hadn't thought about taking it to an art car show, and I was still going to motorcycle and trike rallies, but I was spotted by Erica Nelson of worldslargestthings.com, and she invited me to an art car show in Omaha, Nebraska, the Central Art Car Exhibit, and another show that followed Omaha in a caravan going over to Hastings, Nebraska. So initially that week I went to Sturgis in the BugWing, and then I went to Omaha, and I liked what I was seeing. I liked the people involved in the art car world, and after going to some more shows, I decided that I wanted to glue something to some car. Well, I bought this 95 Subaru from one of my sisters after it was towed in a hailstorm, and I thought for a year before the idea of gluing dentures and other dental things occurred to me. And that idea came to me one night when I was going across Nebraska in the Route 6 Nebraska art car tour back in 2005 in the BugWing. I started searching on eBay for dentures, and initially I could find dentures, but they were going usually for $25 to $40 for just an upper or lower, and I couldn't do that because of the expense. So I kept searching, and I reached the point where I was thinking I was going to have to give up on the idea of the dental theme and do something else, but I decided I'd go back on eBay one night, and I found a recycler in California selling a 75-pound box of recycled partials. So I won that auction, and it was enough to get started with the car that eventually became the ChewBaru. I can't claim credit for that name. I have to give Eric and Elson credit for that one. But then I also bought some old dental school books on eBay, cut photos and illustrations out for the sides of the car, and then people started giving dental molds to me, and toothpaste tubes and toothbrushes and all kinds of things that are related to dentistry. And I started gluing things to it in April of 2006. In May of 2006, I took it to its first show down in Houston, Texas, and since that time I've had this car in 38 states. I've put right around 86,000 miles on the car, just going to art car shows all over the country in places like Houston, which is the largest one in the world, Tulsa, Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Louisville, Kentucky, Seattle, Washington, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Baltimore, Maryland, Pensacola, Florida, Alpine, Texas, and others around the country. Right now I'm on my way to Trinidad, Colorado. The date is September 13, 2013, and the show in Trinidad is going to be the first one for that location. So that's basically how I got involved in the art car world, and how the BugWing and how the ChewBaru came about. And here's a little bit of a view of the interior as I drive. That's it for now.